Here's the thing about the Google Cloud Professional Data Engineer exam. Every question gives you 4 GCP services that all sound like they could be right. The one you pick comes down to whether you know the exact trade-off. Spanner versus Bigtable versus Firestore. Dataflow versus Dataproc. BigQuery partitioning versus clustering. Composer versus workflows. Today, 10 real exam-style questions. At least 2 of these will catch you off guard. Let's find out which ones. Welcome to PrepMyCert. This is the Google Cloud Professional Data Engineer exam. 10 questions. 10 chances to test yourself before the real thing. Let's go. Starting with storage selection. The big one. Global, strongly consistent, relational. Only one GCP service ticks all 3 boxes. You need a globally distributed, strongly consistent relational database with horizontal scale for a financial app. Which GCP service? B. Cloud Spanner. The only GCP service offering global distribution, strong consistency, and horizontal scale for relational workloads. Uses true-time atomic clocks for external consistency. Cloud SQL is regional, vertical scale only. Firestore is a document store, eventually consistent across regions. Bigtable is wide column, eventually consistent, designed for high-throughput key-value workloads. Global plus strong plus relational equals Spanner. Now streaming processing. Pub/sub feeds in, you need windowing, output to BigQuery. The winning service has a unified batch plus streaming model. Streaming pipeline reads from pub/sub, computes 1-minute tumbling windows, writes to BigQuery. Best GCP service for the pipeline? B. Dataflow. Fully managed Apache Beam runtime for streaming and batch with unified API. First-class windowing, tumbling, sliding, sessions, plus watermarks and triggers. Dataproc with Spark streaming works, but isn't serverless and lacks Beam's unified model. Scheduled queries are batch SQL only, no streaming windowing. Cloud Composer is Airflow orchestration, not data processing. Streaming plus windowing equals Dataflow. Messaging. At least once delivery, fanout to many subscribers. Specific GCP service. You need real-time messaging with at least once delivery and the ability to fan out to many subscribers. Which GCP service? B. Pub/sub. Globally available, at least once delivery by default, supports fanout via multiple subscriptions on a topic. Configurable for exactly once. Cloud Tasks is for HTTP-targeted task queues with deduplication, not pub/sub fanout. Cloud Scheduler triggers jobs on cron. Cloud Run is serverless containers. Messaging with fanout equals pub/sub. BigQuery optimization. 10 TB table, queries always filter on date. 2 strategies compete, partition or cluster. BigQuery table has 10 terabytes and queries filter on event_date constantly. Best optimization? B. Partition by event_date. BigQuery scans only the relevant partitions, drastically reducing bytes scanned and cost. Clustering reorders within a partition for additional pruning on other columns. Use both together for best results, partition by date, cluster by user_ID. BigQuery doesn't have traditional secondary indexes. Manual sharding is anti-pattern. Date filter common equals partition by date. Orchestration. Multi-step pipelines with dependencies, retries, schedules. Heavy-duty workflow option. You need to orchestrate complex multi-step data pipelines with dependencies, retries, and scheduled runs. Which GCP service? B. Cloud Composer, managed Apache Airflow for complex DG orchestration with dependencies, retries, branching, sensors, and parameterized runs. Cloud Scheduler just triggers cron jobs, no DG. Dataflow runs pipelines, but doesn't orchestrate other services. Workflows is for simpler service-to-service serverless orchestration, lighter than Airflow. Multi-step DG with dependencies equals Composer. Now the question I teased. Time series sensor data, millions of writes per second, low latency reads by key. Storage selection. Massive write throughput, millions of writes/SEC for time series sensor data. Need low latency reads by row key. Which storage? B. Bigtable. Wide column NoSQL designed for massive write throughput and low latency single row reads by key. Perfect for time series, IoT, AdTech. Design row key carefully to avoid hotspots. Use timestamp reversal or hash prefix. Spanner is relational, horizontal scale, but lower per row throughput. BigQuery is for analytics with high query latency. Firestore is document store, lower throughput. Time series at massive write throughput equals Bigtable. Encryption plus compliance. Highly sensitive data, you want to control the keys. What's the recommended encryption at rest approach for highly sensitive data in GCS, where you want to manage your own keys? B. Customer-managed encryption keys, CMEK, via Cloud KMS. You control the key, GCS uses it to encrypt at rest. Required for many compliance frameworks. CCK, customer-supplied keys, is more extreme. You bring the raw key, never stored by Google. Also valid but operationally heavier. Default encryption is good, but Google owns the key. Client-side is additional defense in depth, not a replacement. Compliance with key control equals CMEK. Streaming late data. Events arrive after their window closes. Specific Beam mechanism. You have a Dataflow streaming pipeline. Out-of-order events arrive late. Which Beam concept handles this? A. Watermarks plus allowed lateness. Watermarks track event time progress. Allowed lateness lets the pipeline accept events arriving after the watermark passes their window. Triggers control when window results emit. Auto-scaling adjusts workers, not late events. Do FN lifecycle handles setup/teardown. Side inputs feed broadcast data. Late event handling equals watermarks plus allowed lateness. Scheduled queries. Simple, no extra plumbing. Which GCP feature? Need to schedule daily BigQuery queries with notifications on failure. Lightest weight GCP option? B. BigQuery scheduled queries. Built into BigQuery, no extra infrastructure, supports failure notifications via pub/sub. Cheapest, simplest. Composer is overkill for one query. Cloud Functions plus Scheduler adds plumbing. Dataflow is for transformations, not just SQL. Just need to run a query on schedule equals scheduled queries. Last one. GDPR plus BigQuery. Right to be forgotten on a 10 terabytes table. Actual deletion required. GDPR right to be forgotten must delete individual user data from a 10 terabytes BigQuery table. Most efficient approach? A. Delete statement with where user_ID equals X. BigQuery now supports efficient DML deletes, including partition-aware deletion. For very large operations or compliance audits, merge patterns can also work. Replacing the whole table is wasteful. Export, filter, reimport is operationally heavy with same cost. Tombstone view doesn't actually delete data, fails GDPR. Real deletion equals delete statement. That's all 10. So how did you do? 8 or more and you're in solid shape for the GCP Professional Data Engineer exam. 7 or below, that's exactly why you're here. The trick now is you know where the traps are. Comment your score below. I want to see how everyone did. If you want the full experience, hundreds of questions just like these, with detailed explanations for every single answer, check out PrepMyCert.com. Lifetime access, one payment, full refund if you don't pass. The link is right there in the description. Go crush that exam.